Om Tadekam Smaramasthadekam Bhajamaha Tadekam Jagat Sakshi Rupam Namamaha Sadekam Nidhanam Niralambamisham Bhavam Bodhipotam Sharanyam Vrajamaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. On that alone do we meditate, that alone do we worship, to that alone, the witness of the universe, do we bow, to that one who is our sole eternal support, the self-existent Lord, the raft to safety across the ocean of this world, do we come for refuge. Om, peace, peace, peace. I'm going to start by offering my pranams to Mataji, Pravajika Brahmapranaji, and my loving greetings to the devotees here. And thanks to Mataji for inviting me to speak with all of you from Hollywood. And I will admit that this is a little bit of a difficult topic. To speak on Holy Mother always seems like a challenge. Why? Because she's so simple and she's so shy. We may miss who she really is, being confused by just seeing her utter simplicity, her bashfulness. She's a simple village woman. Who is she really? So it's very difficult to understand who is a Holy Mother. So we may end up painting the picture of a monkey while trying to paint a picture of Holy Mother. So mostly we have to rely on what other people say about her and what people experienced in her presence. And so that is something that we'll try to do today. And the topic, Holy Mother and Kali. Well, why this topic? I spoke first on Swami Vivekananda and Kali, which is a very engaging subject. Most people, perhaps many people, don't realize that Swami Vivekananda was a very deep, he had a very deep and profound devotion and dedication to Mother Kali. Most of us think of Swami Vivekananda as the Jnani, who came to America to teach Vedanta and spread Vedanta all over India and started a Ramakrishna mission, and full of activity and a vision for India and America and the world. But most people don't know he was utterly and absolutely surrendered at Mother Kali's feet and completely dedicated to Divine Mother. He would say, yes, I believe that she guides me in everything I do and does with me what she will. So he went from being a very skeptical Brahmo worshiper, shunning all image worship and all forms of God, to this real Kali devotee. So Swami Vivekananda is easy to talk about. He gives so many hints about his devotion to Mother Kali and his experiences. His first experience in the Kali temple of Dakshineshwar, seeing the Divine Mother as real and living after Sri Ramakrishna sent him there. The experience at Kshir Bhavani when he heard the voice of the Mother. And so Swami Vivekananda and Mother Kali, we can approach easily. Sri Ramakrishna and Mother Kali. I spoke afterwards on Sri Ramakrishna and Mother Kali, and it's also an engaging topic. It's the thrilling story of how, after he became the pujari of Mother Kali at Dakshineshwar, how he began to question, Mother, are you real, or is it just a statue I am worshiping? And that question became the one thought in his mind day and night, and this heart-rending longing to know Mother overtook his whole mind and soul. And then, of course, that first breakthrough when anguish became too great, the separation from mother, and he grabbed the sword from the wall of the Kali temple and was going to end his life. And then the mother revealed herself as an ocean of infinite light, an ocean of infinite bliss. And of course, after that, that was the initial vision, and then he became gradually established in always being aware of the presence of mother. And then he went even further to the experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and then received the direct command of the mother: remain in Bhavamukha, remain on the threshold between the absolute and the relative, and then began to see all as Divine Mother, began to see all, everything as a manifestation of mother. And towards the very end of his life, that thrilling event at the Shampukur garden house, when, excuse me, just a moment. I suddenly see myself only and not other people. I want to hide myself here. Just a second here. There we go. For me, I'll see everybody. All right. So the Shampukur garden house on the night of Kali Puja, when the devotees brought flowers, Sri Ramakrishna asked them to make arrangements for Kali Puja, but there was no image. And they were wondering, well, what happens now? And then Girish offered handfuls of flowers at Sri Ramakrishna's feet, and he became so immersed in the thought of mother that he became fully identified with her, and his hands assumed the gestures of fearlessness and granting boons. And so the devotee had become merged in the Divine Mother. The lover and beloved had become one, in the words of Swami Vivekananda. So Sri Ramakrishna's the play of Sri Ramakrishna and Divine Mother is equally engaging. As Swami Vivekananda, interestingly, he admitted, Sister Nivedita asked him, I always look upon Sri Ramakrishna as an incarnation of Kali. Isn't that what the future will call him? And Swamiji replied, yes, I think there's no doubt that Kali worked up the body of Ramakrishna for her own ends. Kali worked up the body of Ramakrishna in Swami Vivekananda's view. But Mother, Holy Mother, where do we start with Holy Mother? Let's start with a prayer to her that may she reveal herself to us. May she help us understand who she is, because without her grace, I think it is very difficult to understand who is Holy Mother. She was born, of course, in 1853 in a very remote village of Bengal, Jairambati, and she was the oldest of many children in the family. Interestingly, the family deity was Rama. Her father was a devotee of Sri Rama, just like Sri Ramakrishna's father. And so we don't know how the little Sarada would think of God, but we have this interesting reminiscence from Aghoramani Devi, who was a companion and playmate of the mother in her girlhood days. They were both girls together in Jairambati, and she said, the mother was very simple by nature, that we know. She was simplicity incarnate. Nobody had any altercation with her during childhood sports and games in which she very often played the master or the mistress of the house. And then here's the interesting detail she relates. She, of course, made dolls and played with them, but she preferred worshipping with flowers and bell leaves Kali and Lakshmi in images fashioned by herself. So as a young girl, she used to make little dolls, and she would make a doll of Mother Kali or Mother Lakshmi and worship the Divine Mother as a young girl, like that. So we see a parallel in Sri Ramakrishna's life too. Sri Ramakrishna would fashion images of different gods and worship them. So Holy Mother too, and which deities? Divine Mother, Lakshmi and Kali. And so many mysterious events in her childhood. She seemed to have some kind of guardian angel, was it perhaps? she related that quote, a young girl resembling me used to walk with me and help me in my work. We had great fun together, but she would disappear as soon as anyone else approached. This experience continued till I was 10 or 11 years old. So perhaps the most significant experience that Holy Mother had concerning Mother Kali happened right towards the beginning of her adult life. We know that, of course, she was married in 1859. It was a child marriage. She was a mere girl, and yet, of course, it was just a betrothal. And Sri Ramakrishna began to train her, and she spent time at Kamarpukur in his presence and felt and he.
Swami, we're having some problems with the connection here. Is your Wi-Fi connection strong enough? Would you unmute the Swami, Pursuit?
I'm unmuted. I'm back.
Okay.
I don't know why I disappeared, but I'm back.
You froze, and so we're just wondering if your connection is strong enough.
I'm connected by wire, and it's a really good connection.
Okay. All
so
right, let's
one of those glitches. So where did it freeze? At what point did it freeze? What was I saying?
Oh, you were talking about Sarada Devi and her relationship with her, with her dolls and so forth that she was making.
And then did we get to her marriage and everything?
No.
Yes. Mother Bhuvan says yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
We were talking about. I was talking about her, how she was married to Sri Ramakrishna, and Sri Ramakrishna was training him, and training her rather. Did we cover that a little bit? Okay. So Sri Ramakrishna had gone back to Dakshineshwar and was immersed in the madness of his spiritual disciplines and his intense longing for Divine Mother. And he got the reputation in the village of being a madman, and the villagers would gossip. And small town life, village life has so many wonderful things, but one of the disadvantages of it is the gossip that comes, and the kind of pressure to conform. And so this really rather nasty gossip would come that, oh, poor Sarada, she's married to a madman. What will happen to her? So that didn't jive with her understanding who is Sri Ramakrishna, who was so loving to me. So she finally resolved she has to go see him. She has to go to Dakshineshwar and serve him. If he's mad, then he's mad, but I have to go serve him. So she asked her father, actually, by roundabout way, asked him if she could go to Calcutta on the pilgrimage. And he understood, she wants to go to her husband. So he himself took her, and they went on foot. Now, young Sarada was strong, but not that strong. So walking that long distance on foot, she began to feel ill, and she started getting fever. They fell behind the rest of the group, and they had to stop. And they stopped in a wayside inn, a small wayside inn. They took shelter there, and she had high fever. So she was lying there in the inn, and her mind was tortured. She was afraid that it might, after all, not be her fate to see her husband, to see Sri Ramakrishna. So she was suffering both physically and mentally as she lay in bed, almost unconscious. And then this remarkable event occurred. And of course, most of you have read all of these. We're just reviewing these amazing events. So what happened? She saw a woman of exquisite beauty enter the room and sit by her bedside. This strange woman had a very black complexion, resembling the complexion of Mother Kali. As she stroked Holy Mother's body with her soft hands, Holy Mother's pain seemed to ooze out through the pores of her skin. So the pain was reducing, the fever was getting cooled. And so she asked this unknown woman, "Where do you come from?" She says, "From Dakshineshwar." Mother, with surprise, "Indeed, I wanted to go to Dakshineshwar myself, see him there and serve him. Perhaps ill luck will prevent my desire being fulfilled." The visitor, "Don't say that. You will surely go to Dakshineshwar. You will get well and see him. It is for your sake that I am keeping him there." Sarada, "Is that true? Who are you? Any relation of ours?" The visitor, "I am your sister." Sarada, "Is that so? Perhaps that is why you have come." Holy Mother noticed that this woman's feet were covered with dust, as if from a long walk, and she inquired why no one had given her water to wash them. The stranger said that she would be leaving immediately and disappeared. So this is this event where clearly Mother Kali came to Holy Mother as she was on her sickbed and healed her and reassured her, "I'm keeping him for you. He's there. You're going to see him." So she recovered, and of course she came to Dakshineshwar, and the unfolding of that story of how she lived at Dakshineshwar. We're not going to address all of those details of how Sri Ramakrishna received her with so much love and kept her with him in his room for many months. And then she moved to the Nahabat, the concert tower, and lived a life in perpetual joy in the presence of Sri Ramakrishna. One question that we might ask is, was Holy Mother initiated? Did she receive a mantra? And who was her chosen ideal? Was it Mother Kali as Sri Ramakrishna's? The date is not known of her initiation, but it is recorded that she and Sri Ramakrishna's niece, Lakshmi Devi, received initiation from a wandering monk, a wandering sannyasin named Swami Purnananda in Kamarpukur. And he is described as being stout, fine in appearance, and quiet in temperament, and who happened to be at Kamarpukur. It was a wandering monk. And it's not sure if this happened before she first came to Dakshineshwar or during one of her visits to Kamarpukur after having visited Dakshineshwar. But certainly it would have been before she, during the time of her association with Sri Ramakrishna, during Sri Ramakrishna's lifetime. And so they received, as the book says, the sacred mantra of Shakti. So it's not quite clear. The sacred mantra of Shakti, it could be a Kali mantra, but it could also be a Durga mantra or a Lakshmi mantra or a Jagadhatri mantra. So we don't know what mantra she received, but quite possibly Kali mantra. And when she was at Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna wrote something on her tongue, initiating her with writing something on her tongue. So the Holy Mother then told Lakshmi Devi, "He wrote on my tongue yesterday. Why don't you also approach him?" So Lakshmi Devi also approached Sri Ramakrishna, and he also wrote a bija mantra, a seed mantra on her tongue, but not the mantra of Kali or Shakti. He wrote the bija of Radha Krishna. And when he was told that Lakshmi had already received the Shakti mantra, he said, "Let that be so. I have given her the correct mantra." So this is some evidence that the Holy Mother at least received a Shakti mantra, a mantra of Divine Mother, in Kamarpukur and had that further consecrated by Sri Ramakrishna's initiation, his initiation of direct touch, writing on her tongue. So it seems likely that this may have even happened before before she went to Dakshineshwar, that she had this mantra already when she went to Dakshineshwar. It's quite likely. The next important and perhaps most important event in the relation between Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother is the Shodashi Puja. And I think most of us know what happened during this incident. Holy Mother had been at Dakshineshwar not long. She went to Dakshineshwar in March of 1872, and the Shodashi Puja was on the June 5th, 1872. The Holy Mother was 18 years old. Sri Ramakrishna was twice her age, 36. And it was the night of the Phalaharini Kali Puja. This is one of the main nights of worshipping Divine Mother Kali. This time, in this case, as in her form of the one who removes the fruits of karma, the one who releases us from our karma. Phala is fruits, Harini, you can say destroyer or devourer. So she is devouring, she is removing all the fruits of our actions, which we have accumulated through lifetimes. And so this is the night Sri Ramakrishna worshipped Holy Mother as Shodashi, or Bhuvaneshwari, the Divine Mother. And one of the forms of Divine Mother, one of the 10 Dasham Mahavidyas. She is said to be exquisitely beautiful, 16 years old, and in this form, Sri Ramakrishna worshipped her. Now, how did he do that? He had made all the arrangements for the worship, and there were, of course, lots of people at the temple, but during the Kali Puja itself, everyone was at the Kali temple. So it was just Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother in their room, and he closed the doors and he locked them. And there was an asana, a seat for the Divine Mother to sit on. And after doing the preliminary rituals, Sri Ramakrishna beckoned to Holy Mother to take that seat and sit on it herself. And then he proceeded to invoke the presence of the Divine Mother, Shodashi, in Holy Mother. Of course, from our standpoint, we understand that the Divine Mother was already present in her in a very real way, but this we can understand as being an awakening of the Holy Mother's innate divinity through this worship. So during the course of the worship, Sri Ramakrishna even dressed her in a new sari and offered her all the 16 items of worship traditionally offered. And at the end of the worship, both the Sri Ramakrishna and Mother became absorbed in samadhi, in superconsciousness. So we can say that this was also the consummation of their marriage, because their marriage was never consummated on the physical plane, but they attained union with each other in samadhi. So physical union was no longer necessary in such a marriage because they were joined inseparably in samadhi, a spiritual union. So after this, Sri Ramakrishna offered the fruits of all his spiritual practices at Holy Mother's feet, at the Divine Mother's feet, as manifesting in the body of Holy Mother, including his rosary, which he had used, his mala, I should say, his japa mala. So this is the Shodashi Puja. So after this, we don't see much about Holy Mother and her relationship with the Divine Mother Kali. We see mostly her relationship with Sri Ramakrishna. That's the relationship we see. And yet we start to get glimpses of Holy Mother's identity with Mother Kali. That's what the kind of hints we get. For instance, the incident is well known of Holy Mother coming from Dakshineshwar to from Kamarpukur to Dakshineshwar, or Jairampati to Dakshineshwar, and having to pass through a large, very, very large meadow, many acres wide, called Telo Bhelo, which was known to be frequented by robbers who would rob the travelers going through the field, especially at night. So she and her party were hurrying to get through the field, but Holy Mother was falling behind. And finally, she let the others go ahead. And of course, she was accosted by robbers who were transformed by her. And first, the one robber made a very aggressive, spoke to her very harshly and aggressively, then caught a glimpse of her face. And suddenly he completely changed. And Holy Mother also addressed him as father and told him how she is going to see her husband at Dakshineshwar, etc., etc. Well, afterwards, they were so loving with her and so affectionate. She asked them, "Why do you show me such kindness and affection?" And they replied, "But you are not an ordinary human being. We saw you as Mother Kali." "How was that?" she interrupted. "What did you see?" They replied firmly, "No, child, we have really seen you as Kali. You hide that form from us because we are sinners." "You may say so," she said in an indifferent tone, "but really, I know nothing about it." In the Gospel of Holy Mother, there's only one hint we get. How does she look on Mother Kali? She says, "Kali, the mother of the universe, is the mother of all. It is she alone who has begotten both good and evil. Everything has come out of her womb." We have this idea of the dvandvas, the pairs of opposites, the good and evil, pleasure and pain. They're all manifestations of Divine Mother. So she had that understanding. She had that clear understanding who is Mother Kali, but very little is recorded. Did she have an image of Mother Kali on her altar? We don't know. We know that she had an image of Sri Ramakrishna on her altar, which she worshipped. And later on, when she was, after Sri Ramakrishna's passing away and she was becoming the mother of all the devotees, she was worshipping Sri Ramakrishna all the time. But she did offer worship, in a sense, at Dakshineshwar. And there's a wonderful incident. She collected a whole lot of jasmine and red rangan flowers. I don't know what rangan flowers are, but she collected these and she strung a very beautiful, thick garland. And the way this is done, I don't know, it's a real art to take these, it's like a big, thick garland like that with hundreds and hundreds of jasmine flowers interspersed with these red rangan flowers. They were in buds. So the whole thing was in buds. And then she placed the whole garland in a vessel of water. And once it's soaking in the water, the petals all opened. So it was a glorious flower garland. And she sent it to the temple to be put around the Divine Mother's neck. And Sri Ramakrishna, seeing that garland around the mother's neck, was so charmed by its beauty that he kept on saying, "Ah, how beautiful, how fine it looks. Oh, how beautiful against mother's black, the black color of Mother Kali." And when he learned that it was strung by Holy Mother, he immediately asked her to be brought to the temple to see the image of Mother Kali. And so she came there with a maidservant. And in the meantime, some of Sri Ramakrishna's male devotees, Balaram Babu, Surendra Babu, and others, were going to the Kali temple. And Mother was so bashful that she hid herself behind the maid, behind Brinde. And you know, the sari has an extra anchal, it's called, an extra flap hanging over. And she actually hid herself under that anchal of Brinde, the maid, and walking that way. But Sri Ramakrishna saw her and said, "Wait, no, don't go by the back steps. So someone fell there recently and was injured. Don't go there. Go up the front steps." And so then the men also moved away, understanding the situation, and she could come up to the temple. And the term that Swami Gambhirananda uses in his book is she could have a Pran Kuliya Darshan, which could be translated something as a heart-opening vision of Divine Mother. She could have her fill of beholding the Divine Mother wearing this beautiful garland. So this is how she had worshipped Mother Kali at Dakshineshwar. And of course, later on, she had visited also the Divine Mother at Kali Ghat, the Kali temple at Kali Ghat, and she also confirmed that Mother Kali at Kali Ghat is an awakened deity. Well, she was interested to know, how did Sri Ramakrishna look on her? One night she was massaging his feet, and she asked Sri Ramakrishna, how do you look? How do you regard me? How do you look on me? And Sri Ramakrishna replied, the same mother that is in the temple, referring to Mother Bhavatarini Kali, the mother who gave birth to this body, Sri Ramakrishna's body, and now lives in the Nahabat, the concert tower, is again now massaging my feet. The same mother who is in the Kali temple, who gave birth to this body, is now massaging my feet. Truly do I see you as a veritable form of the blissful mother. The Anandamayi Roop. This name of Divine Mother is so sweet. Sri Ramakrishna used to use it a lot. Anandamayi, she who is full of bliss, who is the very embodiment of infinite joy. Anandamayi Roop bole tomai shorbala shotta shotta dikhte pai. I always see you as a very embodiment of the all blissful Mother herself. Sri Ramakrishna gives us some hints of how he understood, whom he understood Holy Mother to be. He told Golapma, who became Holy Mother's attendant, one of her two very close attendants. She is Sarada, Saraswati. She has come to impart knowledge. She has descended by covering up her beauty this time, lest unregenerate people should come to grief by looking at her with impure eyes. And on another occasion, he said, she is the communicator of knowledge. She is full of the rarest wisdom. Is she of the common run? She is my Shakti. This idea of an avatar, a world teacher, has a Shakti, a feminine counterpart who embodies the power of the divine. To Hridoy, his nephew and attendant, he said, my dear, her name is Sarada. She is Saraswati. That's why she likes to put on ornaments. And we know how Sri Ramakrishna had gold ornaments made for her, and she would wear those. She had a gold ring in her nose, and she had gold bracelets and earrings and all of that. Again, Hridoy was quite rude to Holy Mother. And Sri Ramakrishna, noticing this, he intervened. He told Hridoy, my dear Hridoy, you may be talking to this, meaning to Sri Ramakrishna himself, slightingly, but don't you do so to her. If the one that is in this raises its hood, you may still be saved. But if the one that is in her raises its hood, even Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara cannot save you. So this is, what does he mean? That raises its hood like a cobra, no? If someone gets angry, that's like raising the hood. And if the one that is in Sri Ramakrishna raises its hood, means it gets angry, still you may be saved. But if the one that is in her raises its hood, there's no salvation, there's no safety for you anywhere in this universe. So evidently, Sri Ramakrishna looked on Holy Mother as the Divine Mother herself, as Saraswati, or possibly also as Kali. Now, conversely, how did Holy Mother look on Sri Ramakrishna? Well, we get an amazing hint when Sri Ramakrishna left the body. He was at Kashipur, dying slowly, and Holy Mother was there serving him so devotedly, cooking for him, living under the most extremely difficult circumstances in a tiny little room, and she had to shift to the roof early in the morning before anybody got up, and she was cooking there and cooking his diet. And then on the 16th of August, as we know, Sri Ramakrishna entered Mahasamadhi and left the body behind. And at that time, the Holy Mother was always so bashful, but she all that fell away, and she ran into the room where Sri Ramakrishna's body was lying. And what did she say? Mother Kali, for what fault of mine have you left me? And burst into tears. It's a kind of heartbreaking scene. Ma Kali go, tumi ki doshe amai chere gele go. Wow, oh Mother Kali, my dear Ma, have I done some fault? Somehow imagining that she has done some flaw that Mother Kali would leave her. Sri Ramakrishna has just left the body, and she's saying, she's calling to Mother Kali that why have you left me here? So evidently, Holy Mother looked on Sri Ramakrishna as Divine Mother. So how mysterious. Sri Ramakrishna looked on Holy Mother as Divine Mother. Holy Mother looked on Sri Ramakrishna as Divine Mother. Though later, she also admitted when, after doing the puja, she would feed Sri Ramakrishna, and one of her disciples asked her, how do you look on Sri Ramakrishna? And she said seriously, I look upon him as my child. Another glimpse we get of Holy Mother's view of Sri Ramakrishna. A devotee of Holy Mother, Surendranath Bhaumik, he approached her, and he was having a little difficulty. He had been initiated by Holy Mother and was worshipping Sri Ramakrishna, but he was also devoted to Divine Mother. And he would, after doing his worship and his japa, he would recite a mantra which is used for offering the fruits of one's japa to the divine. And we use this same mantra in our worship, and you can also learn this. It's a beautiful mantra of how do we, after the worship, or after doing japa, after repeating the divine name, we offer that japa to Divine Mother. And what do we say? Om guhyati guhya gopri tvangrahana smatkritam japam siddhir bhavatu me devi tvat prasada maheshwari. Oh, you who are the most secret of all secrets, the hidden one, accept this japa that I have done. And may I attain perfection, may I attain realization, O Mother, by your grace. So he's the Surendranath, he's using this mantra to offer the fruits of his japa, but he's offering it to Sri Ramakrishna, and he's feeling a little bit difficulty. Sri Ramakrishna is a male, and yet the mantra says, O Maheshwari, Divine Mother, O Divine Mother. So the mother replied with a hearty laugh. Holy Mother replied with a hearty laugh, well, my boy, he himself is both the great God and the great goddess, both Maheshwara and Maheshwari. He is in all the deities, and he dwells in all the creatures. One can worship all the gods and goddesses in and through him. You may as well call him the great God as the great goddess. So there's a glimpse. And then to somebody else, she said, he is everything. He is the Purusha, and he is the Prakriti. He is the male principle of infinite consciousness, and he is the feminine principle of primordial energy. From him, everything will flow. So we see that Mother had this understanding of Sri Ramakrishna as being a manifestation of the Supreme Lord and Divine Mother in one. Well, there are a few recorded incidents, quite a number of recorded incidents, but scattered here and there, and you have to search for them to find them, of Mother revealing herself as who she was to her close devotees, and in one case, a relation. She had a nephew named Shivaram, Shibu, and she was once coming back to Jairambati from Kamarpukur with Shibu. They were walking, of course, and Shibu was accompanying her. And he was very young. We don't know exactly how young, but he seems to be still a young boy. And when they reached the field in the vicinity of Jairambati, Shibu stopped. It seemed that there was some idea in his mind, and he stopped walking. And the Holy Mother didn't realize it. She kept walking and then noticed that Shibu was not with her. And so she turned around and find that he's standing there motionless. And so she said, what's the matter, Shibu? Come on. And Shibu said, if you tell me one thing, then only shall I proceed. What is that? Inquired Mother. Will you tell me who you are? Asked Shivaram. Will you tell me who you are? Who should I be? I am your aunt, said Mother. Who should I be? I am your aunt. Then go, Shivaram said. Then go. Here, you are near your house. I won't proceed further. So, young boy saying, okay, who are you? I am your aunt. Okay, go. I'm not coming with you. It was getting dark. So Holy Mother got a little concerned. Young boy is going to be out at dark. So Mother said in a worried tone, look at that. Who can I indeed be, my dear? I am a woman, your aunt. Very good, persisted Shivaram. You can as well go. Finding Shivaram still standing at his post, the Mother said at last, people say I am Kali. To be doubly sure, Shivaram asked, Kali? Truly so? Mother said, yes. Then Shivaram was very happy. And he said, now come, let us go. And he followed her back to the village. So sometimes she would reveal herself in this way to an intimate disciple, that she seems to admit that she is Kali. Now, interesting incident occurred with Sister Nivedita and Sister Christine. They were, of course, staying in Calcutta, and Sister Nivedita and Sister Christine both became very close and intimate with Holy Mother, and she loved them very much and guided them and all of that. And Sister Nivedita said in Bengali, her Bengali was still very rudimentary. She said, Matri Devi, she used to call her Matri Devi, Apni hong amadigir Kali, Mother, you are our Kali. And Sister Christine also repeated it in English, oh, Holy Mother is our Kali. At this, Holy Mother said with a laugh, no, my children, I can't be Kali or any such thing. I would have to stick out my tongue. When this was translated to them, they said, no, you won't have to take that trouble. We shall regard you as our Mother Kali. Sri Ramakrishna is our Shiva. Holy Mother said with a smile, well, that might be all right. So it's funny because she had a wonderful sense of humor. And of course, the image of Divine Mother Kali, she is among many other unusual symbols connected with her. The Divine Mother her tongue is protruding and she's biting her tongue, as it were. So if Holy Mother was Kali, then she would have to stand there with her tongue sticking out. So it's very humorous. And yet she seems to have given some assent to Nivedita's proposition. Now, one of her disciples, Ashu, asked about that robber incident where the robbers saw Kali in her. And so he asked her, what did the robber see in you? Mother says, he told me he saw Kali in me. Then you revealed yourself to him as Kali? Don't hide it, Mother. Please tell me. Mother replied, why should I show him? He told me what he saw. Well, mother, you showed him. The robber did not see any other woman. He saw only you. Whether you admit it or not, it is self-evident that you showed him. That some of these disciples, they were so free with Holy Mother because she's more loving and more intimately known than their own mothers. They felt so comfortable with her that they could challenge her like this. And Holy Mother only replied, well, you may say whatever you like. And she smiled. Then Ashu says, Mother, I don't want to see your Kali form. I am happy to see you in this form. You are my mother, and I am your son. And then Mother replied, very well, my son, I am relieved. I will not have to stand and stick out my tongue. So another similar incident. I would like to just share a couple of incidents in which Mother actually revealed herself, or at least devotees had the vision, the darshan of the divine in her person. There's a devotee, it seems they used to see her in various forms. Particularly the two most common forms were as Mother Kali and as Mother Jagadhatri, who is a form of Durga, who is worshipped soon after the Durga Puja is the Jagadhatri Puja. And there was a regular puja of Jagadhatri in Jairambati, and Holy Mother supervised that. And yet it seems that some of the close disciples had visions of her as Jagadhatri. One Basana Nandi, one day in Jairambati, I wanted to go to a neighboring village to attend a puja festival, but the mother would not allow me to go alone. So this young woman wanted to attend a puja in a nearby, some puja festival in a nearby place, but mother wouldn't permit it. She can't go alone like that. That night when I was massaging her feet with oil, she told me, the thing which you are eager to see, you will see here. While massaging her feet, I fell asleep. Suddenly my sleep broke, and I saw a bright light all around. I have never seen such an effulgent light. I saw the living goddess Jagadhatri in the midst of that light. It was a beautiful and benign form of the Divine Mother. But I did not see the Mother, means Holy Mother. Frightened, I cried, Mother, Mother, and ran out of the room. But I did not see the Mother outside either. I returned to the room and found the Mother sleeping on her bed. There was no more blazing light. Instead, a dim kerosene lantern was lit in a corner. I called out to the Mother, and she asked, what have you seen? I told her what I saw. Smiling, she said, what you have seen is true. I am Jagadhatri, Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Kali. So here we have the mothers graciously revealing herself to a few select devotees. Another one, Swami Hari Premananda. I'll read his reminiscence. I began to gently massage Mother's feet. They were wrinkled and dry. Moreover, her body was then lean and thin. While massaging her feet, a question arose in my mind. Is Mother truly Mother of the universe? Could the Divine Mother have such wrinkled feet with visible veins? Although the question was in my mind, I did not express it. I continued to massage her feet. Gradually, a mysterious change occurred. I felt that her feet were no longer the emaciated feet of an old woman. They were the well-developed feet of a young woman. There was a lantern nearby, and in the light, I clearly saw two beautiful feet, outlined with a stripe of red dye, alta, toes fully developed and close to one another, and exquisite half-crescent toenails. There were also golden anklets adorned with gems and jewels. I wondered whose feet these were that I was massaging. Astonished and dumbfounded, I slowly shifted my gaze from mother's feet to her face. I saw the form of goddess Jagadhatri with a golden complexion, 3 eyes and 4 arms, adorned with many ornaments. She wore a crown on her head and held weapons in her hands. A magnificent luster emanated from her body. Before I saw that form completely, I lost outer consciousness, saying, "Mother, Mother." I don't know how long I stayed in that condition. When I regained consciousness, I found Holy Mother caressing my back with her hand and saying, oh Hari, what has happened to you? Get up, get up." I got up and saw again the old emaciated mother looking at her sick niece. So these are images we can meditate on. And can you imagine the Swami, the young monk, rubbing Holy Mother's old, dried, wrinkled feet with oil? Probably she never wore shoes in her life, so probably her feet were cracked and dry, and oil would be soothing for the cracks, and so she was getting a little massage to her feet with oil. And a little doubt comes in the mind of the Swami, and suddenly he finds these are not an old lady's feet, they are divine feet. And he looks up and has the direct vision of the Divine Mother and loses consciousness of this temporal world and is immersed in some kind of spiritual ecstasy. And then Mother, as if nothing has happened, she says, what happened? What happened to you? And she's the same Holy Mother, the affectionate but elderly, wrinkled-footed mother. Kusum Kumari Devi had this vision. It was evening. I was meditating, sitting near Mother under a fig tree. I saw that she was seated in the midst of a light. She was stark naked. She was giving birth to human beings, which appeared like small insects, and was also gobbling them down the moment they were born. I was scared to see this. When I once again glanced at her, I saw she was meditating. When she heard about my vision, she said, "The Master had bestowed on you the vision of Prakriti." This all-encompassing vision of Divine Mother as not only the one who gives birth to this world and sustains it, but also the one who takes it back in, destroys it, as it were, dissolves it back into herself at the end. Sri Ramakrishna also had a vision of Divine Mother like this. He saw a beautiful woman arise out of the Ganges and come walking towards him. And she was pregnant. And then she gave birth to a beautiful child and suckled the child. And then she transformed into a horrible form and she began to devour the child. This is the vision of Prakriti, of Mahamaya, who out of whom this world is born and who sustains it and then dissolves it back into herself. One more. This is an interesting angle. One Nishikanta Muzumdar said, "One night I dreamt that Goddess Kali of Kalighat raised me up with her 4 hands, as if I were a small child. Thereafter, the form of the goddess transformed into a human female form and said, 'What is there for you to fear? Am I not there?' Then she gave me a mantra and said, 'If you keep repeating this mantra, you will attain everything.'" It seems he had not yet met Holy Mother. He had the vision of Mother Kali of Kalighat, who raised himself up as if he were a small child, and then she transformed into human and gave him a mantra. And so he arrived at Jairambati, and found Holy Mother chopping vegetables in her elder uncle's house. And he says, I remained standing dumbfounded. The female form that I had earlier seen in the dream was now in front of me. She set aside the knife and went into her room, beckoning to me with her hand. As if possessed, I went to her. She had once asked, my child, how could you recognize me? I replied, have I recognized you? I have only recognized you to the extent you have allowed. She began to laugh and stroke my body from head to knee. The moment she did this, I became my normal self and made pranam to her. So here, this amazing how Holy Mother, Nishikant, recognized her as Divine Mother from the dream. And Holy Mother, immediately on seeing him, understood that he had recognized her and said, how could you recognize me? And he also had the wisdom to say, only by your grace, I've only recognized as much as you have showed me. So this is appeals to me very much, that we have to recognize the Mother, and yet we need her grace in order to recognize her. We need her grace if we are to understand who is Holy Mother. So very few could Swami Gambhirananda says, how few discovered the real nature of the Mother. To whom, therefore, was she to disclose her identity? And even if she did so, who would believe her? So she was very reluctant to reveal herself. One devotee asked her, why can we not realize that you are the goddess, that you are the Divine Mother? And she replied, can everyone do so, my dear? And then she gives the example of a diamond, a piece of diamond, a rough diamond in the rough, on a flight of steps of a tank. And everyone took it for an ordinary stone, and people would rub their feet on the stone to smooth them after their bath, and then went away. One day a jeweler came to those steps and discovered that it was an exceptionally large and priceless diamond. So in this, she is really hinting at herself. She is that diamond, but it's very, very difficult to recognize her. Sri Ramakrishna, I think, called her a cat covered in ashes. Very difficult to recognize. Well, I'll close with my idea behind our discussion today is simply, more than anything, to try to get a glimpse of who is Ma Sarada and what is her relation to Ma Kali and Sri Ramakrishna through these different incidents and anecdotes, which provide us with rich food for meditation. Sister Nivedita wrote a beautiful letter to Holy Mother. I just share a small excerpt from that letter, where she writes to her in English. The letter would have been translated for Holy Mother afterwards. She writes to her, I thought I had been very foolish to sit in your room at the evening service to Sri Ramakrishna, trying to meditate. Why did I not understand that it was quite enough to be a little child at your dear feet? Maybe it's enough for us to just be a little child at Mother's feet, not to worry about, is she Mother Kali, is she Mother Jagadhatri? We don't even have to meditate if we can just sit at Mother's feet. And she goes on, dear Mother, you are full of love, and it is not a flushed and violent love like ours and like the world's, but a gentle peace that brings good to everyone and wishes ill to none. It is a golden radiance full of play. And then she says, surely you are the most wonderful thing of God, Sri Ramakrishna's own chalice of his love for the world, a token left with his children in these lonely days. And we should be very still and quiet before you, except, indeed, for a little fun. Surely the wonderful things of God are all quiet, stealing unnoticed into our lives. The air and the sunlight and the sweetness of gardens and of the Ganges. These are the silent things that are like you. Isn't your thought now and then of the high calm that neither loves nor hates? Isn't that a sweet benediction that trembles in God, like the drop on a lotus leaf and touches not the world? Ever, my darling mother, your foolish cookie, Nivedita. So this is Nivedita's beautiful excerpt from Nivedita's beautiful letter to mother. This is perhaps the a very important message, that it's quite enough just to be a little child at Divine Mother's feet.